Hello everyone, this is the lecture series of hydraulic mechanic machine subject, and the course code for this subject is here ME317, unit number 3rd and lecture number 18, and topic name for this subject is centrifugal pump. And for my introduction, myself Rahul Kumar, assistant professor of Department of Mechanical Engineering, Suresh Gyan Vihar University, Jaipur. And as we know that today I will discuss about the centrifugal pump. So pump is a apparatus which moves the fluid in a system, and the pump is a machine which has the function of increasing the total energy of a liquid. This means that pump transfer energy to the fluid and that is received from the driving motor. Means the pump cannot develop any kind of energy by its own, but it can drive by a motor, and which may be electrical or mechanical device, for this sense. And need of a pump: used to pump are a liquid from lower pressure area to high pressure area. This can increase the flow rate, and to move liquid from lower elevation to higher elevation also, right? And these are the different kinds of working about this pump. So let's start this centrifugal pump objectives. For the objectives of the centrifugal pump, the student able to understand about the design of system through which fluid flow and the calculation of losses that will occur when the fluid flows, and selection of suitable device which will deliver enough energy to fluid to overcome these losses, and the different kinds of pressure head or suction head related to the centrifugal pumps, and the different types of derivation like speed variation and the pressure variation with elevation heights and all other things I will cover in this lecture. And definitely student will learn all these things. So move to the introduction of this centrifugal pump. Basically centrifugal pump is a dynamic pump, means this is belongs to the dynamic category of pumps, and this pump generate high rotational velocities. This pump generates high rotational velocity. Then this high rotational velocity is converted to the resulting kinetic energy of liquid to pressure energy, and this type of pumps convert into the two parts. First is it contains impeller and casing also, right? It contains impeller and casing, and the uses of this pump, several types of use regarding this type of pump. But dynamic pumps, which energy is added to the fluid continuously through the rotary motion of the blade, and this blade connected to the impeller, and this increases the energy which is converted to a gain in pressure energy when the liquid is allowed to pass through an increased area, and this area is called the casing. And the use of the different kinds of use of the centrifugal pump is here. So this is the first use is here. Centrifugal pumps are generally used where high flow rates and moderate head increases are required, right? And it can handle fluid containing suspended solids. Means the conclusion of that, this type of pump where is required, where the high flow rate is need but pressure is less, right? But velocity of liquid is very high, so and it can handle the fluid containing suspended solids also. So after starting the work explanation, first you will understand about the working construction of this centrifugal pump. And centrifugal pump consists of a impeller, and on the impeller vanes or blades are connected, right? On the impeller vanes are connected, and this is the outer casing. This is the outer casing of the centrifugal pump. This is the outer casing of the centrifugal pump, and this section is called the volute. This section is called the volute. Through this impeller is rotating in the very high rotational speed, rotating at a very high rotational speed, and this is the suction eye. From the suction eye, here water is sucked from the inlet side. Water is sucked from the inlet side, and this is the discharging or outlet port of the centrifugal pump. So in this case, this provides a one force that pushes the liquid away from the center, or we can say that the center, it means the tangential direction, and converting prime mover energy into mechanical energy through shaft, and this converting mechanical energy into the fluid energy by the impeller. Means this impeller convert the mechanical energy into the fluid energy, and this fluid energy, all fluid is stored in this volute, and the volute converting the kinetic energy into the pressure energy, and through the volute casing, right? Through the volute casing, and here liquid is forced into impeller, and vanes passes kinetic energy to the liquid, and then liquid rotates and leaves the impeller, and this liquid strike to the volute casing and this volute casing convert the kinetic energy into the pressure energy. This is the total working principle behind this centrifugal pump. So again I am explaining the parts of the pump. Here the several types of parts. First one is volute casing, and next is vanes, impeller, and suction eye, and this is the foundation of the centrifugal pump, right? So these are the different kinds of parameters which are attached here, right? These are the different parts of this centrifugal pump. This is the volute and this is the diffuser. For the major part here, this is the shaft. This is shaft, and here is impeller, and this is the volute casing. This is the impeller. And here is volute casing. And for the case of diffuser, in the case of diffuser, stator and rotor vanes are present, but in case of only pump, only rotor vanes are present, right? And for the shaft, if I am talking about the shaft transmitted torque or power and supporting the impeller, and this shaft supporting the impeller, and if shaft is rotate, then the impeller is also rotate, and the shaft is protected from erosion, corrosion and wear, and the seal chamber through renewable sleeves are used for this purpose. So shaft is also connect the any mechanical or electrical device which rotates the pump, right? And for the case of impeller connects the vanes, and these vanes are called the blades of the impeller. Blades of the impeller. And impeller has the vane that pushes the liquid through the impeller, and this transmits energy into the liquid with the help of hydraulic energy. And the volute casing impeller are fitted inside the casing. And volute casing is curved shape, and this increases in cross sectional area, and volute reduces the velocity of liquid and increases the pressure energy So volute casing is very important, because volute casing provide the, and we can say that it can convert the kinetic energy into the pressure energy, right? These are the impeller constructions. And here different types of impeller are present here. One is in the first figure. You see the first type of case. This is the open impeller, and inside in this type of impeller only blades, impeller vanes are present here, and without any facing at the back side surface. But this is a semi-open. Here one side is facing and one side is free, and this is this type of impeller just you seen in your motor in your home, right? Or in a motor of this is a motor of cooler motor, right? Jet cooler motor, and this is a fixed type of, this is a closed type of vanes, right? Here liquid goes on this side and moves on that side, right? So these are the three types of vanes, which are open, semi-open and closed vanes. Open, semi-open and closed vanes. And so these type of vanes used in different purposes, right? And this type of vanes is used for liquid. This type of vanes are used for high pressurization, and this is used for the low pressurization case. So different cases here for the design of this vanes. And this is the working of the centrifugal pumps, and these are the components just like impeller, casing, suction pipe, delivery pipe, foot valve, strainer, and this is the centrifugal strainer. But these are the main components of this centrifugal pump. An impeller is used to wheel with series of backward curve vanes, and for the case of air, casing is airtight chamber surrounding of impeller. And for the suction pipe, one end is connected to the eye and the other is dipped into a liquid. And the delivery pipe, one end is connected to eye and other to the overhead tank, and where the liquid is sends. And foot valve allow water only in upward direction. Strainer prevent the entry of foreign particles or material to the pump. So this is the construction and working of the centrifugal pump, and then the difference between centrifugal pump and the invert flow turbine. Both are invert flow turbine just work like as a pump. So centrifugal pump, it consumes power, right? In the case of pump, centrifugal pump, it consumes power, but it produces a power. Work difference, different types of work, means opposite type of work. And water flow radially outward. And in this type of invert flow turbine, water flows radially upward, radially inward from periphery. And the third case, flow from low pressure to high pressure, flow from low pressure to high pressure, and flow from high pressure to low pressure. In the fourth case, flow is deaccelerated, and in next case, flow is accelerated. Flow is deaccelerated and flow is accelerated. So these kinds of two differences between centrifugal pump and invert flow turbine. Centrifugal pump and a invert flow turbine. So these differences gives the very good point about this. And these are the total heads. Total heads of the centrifugal pumps are as follows. These are 4 types of heads. First one, suction head, delivery head, static head, and monometric head. For the suction head, these heads, this type of head we can use in different types of turbines. This is case of the centrifugal pump, right? Case of this centrifugal pump. So here different types of heads are used for different types of pumps is here, and these pumps are related to the radial pump, axial pump, or a mixed flow pump. For the radial pump, this is a high pressure for low flow rate centrifugal pump, and for the axial pump, this is a axial pump, flow pump. This is used to operate at a much lower pressure and high flow rates than radial flow pump. And for this case of mixed flow pumps, mixed flow pump operate at high pressure than axial flow pumps while delivering higher discharge than radial flow pump, while delivering the higher discharge than radial flow pumps, right? So these are the third case of mixed flow pump. And all type of heads like a suction head, delivery head, static head, and manometric heads, all type of heads used these type of pumps. And what is the suction head? This is represented by a letter HS. This is represented by a letter HS, and it is vertical distance between the level of sump and eye of an impeller. It is the vertical distance between the level of sump and the eye of impeller. It is also called the suction lift, right? And the delivery head HD, this delivery head HD, it is the vertical distance between the eye of an impeller and the level at which water is delivered, and which water level is delivered, right? And next one is static pump. In the static pump HS, it is sum of suction head and the delivery head. Static head, this is the HS, this is the sum of suction head and delivery head, and it is given by HS minus small hs plus HD, right? And this static head is represented by the HS, capital H and a suffix S, and the suction head represented by a small h and suffix S. Similarly, in the case of delivery head, this is the small h suffix D. This is the symbol of HS, HD and HS. And this is not a minus sign, this is the equal to. HS equal to static head equal to, this is the sum of suction head and the delivery head is here, right? So this is the case of static head. And some more head is here. This is the manometric head. This is given by capital letter H and suffix M, HM, and the head against with the centrifugal pump has to work. The head against which the centrifugal pump has to work, and it is given by the following equation. It is given by the following equation. This is the HM equal to head imparted by the impeller to the water and minus loss of head in the pump impeller and casing. So this is the HM equal to V W2 U2 divided by G minus HLI plus HLC, right? So what the HLI and HLC? HLI and HLC gives the loss in impeller and the loss in casing also. Loss in impeller and loss in casing also. And the HM equal to VW2 U2 divided by G if losses are neglected. If losses are neglected. And then move to the next slide. These are some different kinds of heads. This is the HM. This is the static head plus losses in pipes plus kinetic energy at the delivery. So the kinetic energy at the delivery, this gives the equal to HS plus HFS plus HFD plus VD square by 2G. So this gives the HS plus HD plus HFS plus HFD plus VD square by 2G. This is equation number 8. And from where HS and HD, it gives the suction and delivery head. It gives the suction and delivery head. And HFS and HFD gives the loss of head due to the friction in suction and delivery pipe. And the VD, this gives the velocity pipe in delivery section, right? And in third case, this gives the HM. HM is the total head at outlet of pump. Total head at the outlet of pump minus total head at inlet of pump. Total head at inlet of pump. So the total head at the outlet, this is given by the PD by rho g plus VD square by 2G plus ZG, right? And this PD by rho g, this is the given by HD plus VD square divided by 2G plus ZD. Similarly, in the case of inlet, this is a HS VS square by 2G plus ZS. So here is HM here, which is the difference between outlet minus inlet. This is the HD plus VD square divided by 2G minus HS VS square divided by 2G, right? So this is the case of HM head, right? And this is equation number 9 and this is equation number 8. And inlet, here is inlet and outlet velocity triangles for centrifugal pump, and this is the work done by impeller on liquid. In first case, liquid enters I of impeller in radial direction, that is alpha equal to 90 degree and VW1 equal to 0 and V1 equal to VF2, and no energy loss in impeller due to ED formatting, right? And no loss due to shock at entry, and velocity distribution in vanes is uniform. Let N, this is equal to speed of impeller, RPM, and omega, this is a angular velocity, omega equal to 2 pi n divided by 60 radian per second. And in the third case, tangential velocity of impeller. For the tangential velocity of impeller, it is given by the V1 equal to omega R1, and for the omega value pi d1n divided by 60. This is a meter per second. And similar in the second case, u2 equal to omega r2. This is equal pi d2n divided by 60 meter per second. So v1 is, this is a absolute velocity for water at inlet, and vw1, this is the velocity held at inlet. Velocity held at inlet. So these are the different cases of this, right? And then move to the next page, and this is the velocity triangle for this impeller vane, centrifugal pump impeller vane. So this is the blade, this is the aerofoil shape of blade, and this is the rotational speed, and this is a one vane or blade, we can say that, and this is the higher radius and this is the lower radius of this blade. And for this case, here is V1 equal to Vf1, and in this case V2 and VR2 is here, and this is the VW2 and this is a U2, this is total velocity, and here is tangent to impeller at outlet of vane, and this is the outlet velocity triangle is here. So in this case, tangent to impeller at inlet of the vane, it gives a line this, and this inlet velocity, this is a inlet velocity triangle, right? This is a inlet velocity triangle. So this is the velocity triangle of a impeller for centrifugal pump is here, right? For centrifugal pump. And the case of here different notation are used. This is the VR1, this is the relative velocity at inlet. VF1, this is the velocity of flow at inlet, and alpha, this is the angle made by the V1 at inlet with direction of motion of vane, and theta is the angle made by VR1 at inlet with direction of motion of vane, and V1, VW1, VR1, VF1, beta and phi are the corresponding values at the outlet. Similar this value at the inlet also. And a centrifugal pump is a reverse radially inward flow reaction turbine. A centrifugal pump is the reverse of radially inward flow reaction turbine. So this type of pump is used as a work done by water on runner of turbine per second per unit weight of water, and this is equal to 1 by G VW1 U1 plus minus VW2 U2, and the work done by impeller on water per second per unit weight of water, this is equal to minus WD work done in case of turbine also, and this is equal to minus 1 by G VW1 U1 plus minus VW2 U2, and this is the case of work done by impeller for centrifugal pump also. So move to the next page. Then here work done equal to 1 by G VW2 U2 minus VW2 U1. This is equation number 1, and we know that equation 1, this is a Euler momentum equation for the pump, or we can say that this is a Euler head. So Euler head, since radial entry VW1 equal to 0 and V1 equal to Vf1, and then the work done per unit weight is equal to 1 by G VW2 into U2 Newton meter per Newton. This is equation number 2. Then Q equal to area into velocity of flow. This is Q equal to pi d1 b1 into Vf1, and the continuity equation Q equal to pi d1 b1 into Vf1, and this is equal to pi d2 b2 into Vf2. From the outlet velocity triangle, this will give the VR2 square plus Vf2 square plus U2 minus Vw2 square. This will also give this equation number 3, and also for the Vf2 square is equal to V2 square minus Vw2 square. This is equation number 4 is here. So move to the next equation. For the next equation of this flow is here V2 square minus Vw2 square. This is a Vr2 square minus U2 minus Vw2 square, and this is, if I am opening this bracket, then the equation it will becomes Vr2 minus U2 square plus and this minus Vw2 square. For this case, Vw2 square and Vw2 square both are cancel out. So only remaining term is here, and this V2 square is not cancel out. So the only remaining term is here only 2U2 Vw2 equal to V2 square plus U2 square minus Vr2 square, and this is a U2 Vw2 equal to 1 by 2 V2 square plus U2 square minus Vr2 square. And similarly from the inlet velocity triangle, this is the U1 Vw1 equal to half V1 square plus U1 square minus Vr1, putting in equation 1. Then the work done equal to 1 by G. This is a 1 by G half V2 square plus U2 square plus Vr2 square minus half, like this. So the work done is here V2 square minus V1 square by 2G, U2 square plus U2 square minus U1 square by 2G plus Vr2 square minus Vr1 square minus Vr2 square by 2G. This is equation number 5, and this shows this is the sum of increase in kinetic head and increase in static head and the change in kinetic energy due to retardation. So work done, this gives the work done per second per unit weight. This is the work done per second per unit weight, and this is the equation number 5, known as fundamental equation of centrifugal, known as the fundamental equation of the centrifugal pump. So move to the next slide for the other. So this is the losses. This slide gives the losses related to the pump, and these are the 3 types of losses. First one is hydraulic loss, second is mechanical loss, and third is leakage loss. For the first case, hydraulic loss gives the frictional loss, shock, and the eddy losses, and the mechanical losses gives the bearing friction, impeller losses, and leakage loss provided by the leakage of the liquid also. But this is a very small loss because this is not very important for the case of pump. But this mechanical losses, this is a very high, gives the very high contribution about the losses. And the eddy losses, this is very important for this hydraulic loss because it just reduce the efficiency of the pump also, and efficiencies of the centrifugal pump. For the term of the efficiencies, these are the monometric efficiencies, neta manometric, and the neta manometric. These are the manometric head divided by head imparted by the impeller. So the manometric head is here HM, and this is the head imparted by the impeller. This is a VW1 divided into U2 by G, and GHM divided by W, VW2 U2. So the Francis, for the case of, this is a case of Francis turbine, or similarly for the centrifugal pump also, right? And this is the volumetric efficiency, neta V. Neta V is the ratio of volumetric efficiency. This is the ratio of liquid discharge per second from the pump, liquid discharge per second from the pump, and the quantity of liquid passing per second through the impeller. and then neta V equal to Q divided by Q plus Q also, right? So this is the neta V case. For in this case, Q is the actual liquid discharge at pump outlet per second, and P is the leakage of the liquid per second from impeller, and the mechanical efficiency, this is the neta mechanical equal to power at impeller divided by power at the shaft, power at the impeller, and this is divided the power at the shaft. So it gives the formula like this: rho GQ divided by VW2 U2 divided by G, and this is power of the shaft, just like as a P only written. Then the overall efficiency of the turbine, this is the ratio of output power of pump divided by input power of the pump, and we can say that this is neta 0 equal to the neta mechanical into neta manometric efficiency, right? So this is the second case of this. For the turbine case, neta 0 equal to P by just reverse of this efficiency, right? So these are the various losses, and corresponding efficiencies of a centrifugal pump are tabulated as follows. These efficiencies are just like as a motor. This is a motor, this is the power given to the shaft. So here is mechanical losses are behind it, and this is this power if I am move to the impeller, and this is the impeller power, and this impeller power convert to the fluid into the kinetic energy of the fluid into the hydraulic energy, pressure energy, and here is hydraulic losses, means hydraulic losses means eddy losses and other friction losses are associated with it, and this is the output power. For this, here is this and this gives the neta mechanical efficiency, and this gives the and this gives the neta manometric efficiency, and this terms P shaft power and the output power gives the neta overall efficiency of this pump here. So just you see this efficiency diagram for this motor to output, means input to output, right? And this slide showed the effect of outlet blade angle on manometric efficiency, neta manometric, and this gives an outlet of an impeller of the energy available in liquid has a pressure energy equal to the sum of manometric head Hm and the velocity head V2 square by 2g, and this is the neglecting the losses in pump. We have VWT divided by U2 by G, this is equal to Hm plus V2 square by 2g, and this Hm gives the VW2 U2 divided by G minus V2 square by 2g. From the outlet velocity triangle, this is the V2 square equal to VW2 square plus VF2 square, and this substituting the values, then Hm equation, then this is the effect. Hm is here, like write this formula: U2 minus VF2 cot phi U2 by G minus U2 minus VF2 cot phi square plus VF2 square divided by 2G. This is the value of Hm for this case. So Hm is manometric head, right? And last thing is here cavitation. So cavitation is a very big problem in this turbines, in the centrifugal pumps, and also turbine also. And for this purpose, whenever the pressure is the pipe falls below the vapor pressure corresponding to the existing temperature, of the liquid, and the liquid will vaporize and bubbles are formed, collapse at this. The process of continued rapidly and creates high pressure, which can damage the impeller very easily, and this phenomena is known as cavitation. For the cavitation, and this cavitation generally occurs in centrifugal pump near the inlet of the impeller is also, and this is the Thomas cavitation factor is here, sigma equal to NPSS divided by HM, and the main main aspects behind the cavitation: formation of bubble inside a pump. This is the formation of bubble inside a pump is here, right? And growth of bubble, collapse of bubble, and then cavitation is produced. For the bubble formation, it creates a very high shock waves, and this shock waves damage the blade surface. This shock wave damage the blade surface also. So the cavitation factor is given by sigma equal to NPSS divided by HM, right? Then move to the difference section of this lecture. This is the MCQ problem. The main function, the first MCQ question for this lecture is here. The main function of the centrifugal pump are to transfer speed, transfer pressure, and the transfer temperature. So the main function of this centrifugal pump is here transfer pressure, right? So the B is the correct answer. So the gives the velocity component at right angle to a particular direction. This is the velocity vector, stream function, and the pressure line. So it gives the velocity vector, right? So in the right angles, so stream function is the right answer for this question. In the third question, centrifugal pump transport fluid by converting. 4 option is given here: kinetic energy to hydrodynamic energy, hydrodynamic energy to kinetic energy, mechanical energy to kinetic energy, and mechanical energy to hydrodynamic energy. So here correct answer is A is the correct answer for this question, right? Then move to the next question, question number 4. And centrifugal pump is a which kind of device? And here 4 option is again: turbo machinery, flow regulating device, drafting device, and intercooling device. So centrifugal pump is a turbo machinery type of device, right? So this is a correct answer for this question, A. Then move to the 5th question. Centrifugal pump transfer energy from rotor to fluid, fluid to rotor, draft to rotor, and rotor to draft. So here transfer the energy from rotor to fluid here, right? So A is the right answer for this question. Then move to the next question, and next is 6th question. Which among of the following control the flow rate? Valve, pump, head, and tank pipe. Then valve is control to the flow rate, right? So A is the right answer for this question. And move to the inlet passage of water entry is controlled by head race, gate, tail race, or pump. So the inlet passage of a water entry is controlled by a gate. So B is the right answer for this question. Turbo machine work under Newton's first law, Newton's second law, Newton's third law, and the Kepler's law. So these are works as a Newton's second law is the right answer for this question. And then move to the next question. Question number 9. And centrifugal pumps are used to transport the are used to transport the fluid, right? So D is the correct answer for this question. For the 10th and last question, the main function of nozzle is to varying temperature, pressure variation, load variation and heat variation. The main function of the nozzle is to varying the pressure variation. So the B is the right answer for this question. These are the references of this book here. First is Engineering Fluid Mechanics by K.L. Kumar, Fluid Mechanics and Machine, F.M. White and John Willisons, Fluid Mechanics and Machine, A.K. Jain, Fluid Mechanics, V.L. Steeper and M.C. Grahil, and Fluid Mechanics with application S.K. Gupta and V. Gupta for New Age publication. So these are the references, and thank you for this lecture. Thank you for this lecture today, and we will meet to the next series of lecture number 19. Thank you all of you.